Good morning, guys. Going to take a little fishing trip, and going to be running tandem rigs, trolling tandem rigs. And what I'm talking about on a tandem rig is we're going to run a deep diving crankbait off a three-way swivel. There'll be a line coming up to a three-way swivel about 2 feet, and then we'll have this. This will kind of be like the downrigger, or it'll get it down to the desired depth. And then out behind that, on a longer leader off the three-way swivel, we're going to be running a flutter spoon. And the idea is the bait's to run in the water like this. The crankbait takes it down and kind of acts as an attractor, and then the fish see the bait coming by, and usually they'll key on the back bait. They will bite the front bait. I run these on sometimes for stripers with bucktails. Instead of a crankbait, I'll run a 1.5 ounce bucktail and then about a 1/4 ounce bucktail to get the separation, and works real well for stripers with bucktails. So I thought I'd try it for whatever bites. We're not going to target any specific species, and but we're going to go out and see if it works, and then I'll report back and let you know the good, the bad, and the ugly on it. So hope you liked the video, and here's the fishing and what happened. And at the end, I'll break it down and tell you what all went good and what went wrong. I'm filming this after the fishing trip, so some things went wrong, so I'm gonna break it down for you, and some things that I didn't think of that you might need to know if you decide to try this. So watch the video, and then at the end I'll break it down and let you know the good and the bad. So appreciate it. Nice one. Might be a striper. Missed him. Take off the white perch. Okay guys, hope you liked the fishing video and everything. As you can see, we did catch some fish. Not a real impressive trip, but did manage a few fish, which always makes it interesting. I think we caught 4 different species. I think crappie, bass, white perch, and striper. So the method works, and I didn't use it the whole time, and because I did encounter some problems with it. So I'm gonna tell you my theories on it and what I'm gonna try the next time that I go out and do this, that I think might make it work better. But as you can see, it does catch fish, and I think it's a good method, and I think it'll really catch a lot of fish if you can get past the hurdles. Okay, so what were the hurdles? All right, one, it's fall. We had leaves in the water. Leaves were, clogging my baits. And that was happening on all of the baits, not just the Tandem Rigs, but you gotta pull them in and you gotta check them, and you can tell when they're not running right, when your rod, quits doing this and it starts just doing this, you got a leaf on it. So you're all the time pulling rods in, putting them back out. So that's where the problem comes in with the Tandem Rig. And I'm gonna show you what happens. I got the spoon and the crankbait here. So, okay. So what happens is when you're putting that bait out, the crankbait floats and the spoon goes down. So they go out, as you're letting them out like that. And the spoon's hanging down here on the bottom. So, all right, when you start trolling, the crankbait starts diving down. Well, then the spoon comes up, and when it does, a lot of times the crankbait back hook will hook your line. So then your spoon is back here, and it causes the crankbait not to run right because your line's fouled in the crankbait there. So, and causes the spoon not to really run quite right. I mean, it runs a little bit better than the crankbait, but you can tell it. And when I would let the rods out, I would think, man, I got a leaf on it, because the rod tip wasn't bouncing. So I'd pull it in, there'd be no leaf. So I thought, well, maybe it just come off, before I got it all the way in. Put it back out, and then it might run right. And what I encountered is when you're putting it out, if you pay it out real slowly, kind of keep it moving forward, but let it go backwards. Say if you're running 2 miles an hour, let it out at about 1 mile an hour, so it's still diving and keeping a little bit of separation there. But it's painstakingly slow to get that bait out to where you want it at, say 100 feet back. Painstakingly slow. And then you're up closer to the surface, and you're more than likely going to get a leaf again. So had a lot of problems with that. And I think it made the baits way less productive, because that, like I say, and then if you'd stop, this bait shoots up and this one falls down. So then when you start back, they go back again, and 9 times out of 10, it'll hook that. So I noticed I was having less problems on the left side of the boat as I was on the right side of the boat. What was different? Okay, on the side that I was having problems, I was running a floating crankbait. On the one that I wasn't having problems as much, I did still have some, because I was running a suspending crankbait. So it would stay down in the water a little bit more, but it still got tangled. Stayed, instead of 9 times out of 10 times you're letting it out, it'd get tangled 7 out of 10 times. So what's my fix on this? I've been brainstorming it and thinking, well, how can I do that? And I thought, well, maybe I'll run 2 crankbaits, a shallow running and a deep running crankbait. So say I run a shallow running crankbait back here. Okay, if I'm letting them out and they're on the surface, the lines are still right there together. So once they start diving, it might not, because the hooks will be dangling down, but it could be over here to the side a little bit. And I think a shallow running crankbait will work better than a spoon. Whether it'll catch fish as good as a spoon, I don't know. We're gonna try it and see. But then another theory I thought was, okay, this front bait, the diver, I'm gonna run a suspending bait, a suspending crankbait, and then a floating shallow diving crankbait. And what that'll do is, maybe when I'm putting it out, it'll keep that diving front bait a little bit lower than this one. And then once they start, it'll go on down and get even more separation. So what I'm gonna do is try running a suspending crankbait. And I only had one in my tackle box, and this is the one I caught the striper on. It's a Rapala RS Shad, I believe. And so I got on Cabela's website and started looking, and not a lot of bait companies make a suspending crankbait. They make suspending jerk baits like crazy, but Rapala is about one of the only ones. I think Bass Pro maybe had a version. And anyway, I'm gonna order a couple more of these, and then we'll run like a probably a Rapala F7 or something, a floating, just a floating crankbait for the back bait, and see if that works as good as the spoon. Would like to run the spoon, but I don't. If you guys, please comment if you know a way to keep that separation better in them. But like I say, every time once this one would start diving, it'd come down and those hooks would grab that line, it'd pull that down. And I have seen people run a pet spoon for this one, and they'll take the hooks off and just use it as an attractor. And that might be the ticket. Maybe you take the hooks off and you won't catch any fish on this one, which I caught my striper on, but it'll keep that spoon back there. I think that would work better than hooks on it. So I may try that down the road. I don't know. I'm thinking and trying to figure this out and how to make it work, because it works good on stripers on bucktails, and I might try it on crappie jigs and try for crappie that way. So, but if you know a way to keep the two baits apart, let me know. Comment down there in the comment section. But right now, that's the problem that I see. If you can get that worked out, I think this is a deadly combination. I think it'll work even better. I think 70% of the time I had it in the water, I had them fouled. And the times I didn't have them fouled, I think it's probably when I caught the fish. So after a while, I did give up on it, and just went to, it was a pretty tough day, so I just went to fishing micro crankbaits. And I'm being long-winded here, guys. This was an adaptive fishing trip. You had to adapt to catch fish, you know. But after I discovered that problem after about 2 hours, and I wasn't catching any fish, I thought, I got to try something else. So I put on this little Salmo Hornet, I believe they call it, and started running those and started catching some bass and I think white perch on these, because it was a pretty tough day. I was catching them on spinning tackle and 4-pound test line. So that ended up making what would have probably only been a 2-fish trip into an 8 or 10 fish trip, whatever I caught there. So ended up saving the day a little bit. So anyway, that's the video, guys. Hope you like it. Please comment if you know a way to keep those baits separated. I'd love to know it. And you know, and definitely think it's a good technique if you can figure out how to make it work. Appreciate you guys watching. Thank you.